This is the TeamTracer configuration tutorial. In order to use TeamTracer, TeamTracer must first be configured for the settings that you want to use. To do this, we go to Configuration and we go to Configure TeamTracer in the menu. The setup wizard is just that, a wizard that takes you through a multi-page step-by-step process that will allow you to make the configurations that you want to use. Let's go ahead and look through the wizard options now. When you go ahead and click Next, you get the first page, which has to do with basic configuration of the program. You'll see that there are 4 tabs. Let's talk about them briefly. The sign-out handling has to do with when somebody is logged out of the program or signed out of the program, how it is that it's going to make the determination of where they are signed out from. And they have a couple of options. The first one is to select from the assignment window, which will allow you to have any number of different assignments. So if somebody comes in through door 1 and you'd like to have them leave through door 2, you can specify door 2, and when they swipe their card, the log out location will be door 2. If the from the most recent assignment is selected, then it doesn't matter what the current assignment is that might be selected for somebody else. It will look at whatever they were last assigned to, and it will select that they are going to be signed out from that location. Synchronization has to do with networking. TeamTracer can have multiple stations that all talk with one another, and if you decide that you want to take advantage of that capability and keep all of the events synchronized in terms of their actions across multiple locations, you can enable this feature. On-the-fly badge creation has to do with being able to create a badge for a record in the database that does not yet exist. And when you're regularly in the TeamTracer action capture interface, you can't actually create a new card unless this is turned on. There's another feature that when you enable automatic badge creation that you can turn on, which is the auto open of the create badge window. And this feature has to do with basically looking at the database, and if it does not find a matching record when you do your search, then it automatically pops up the window to allow you to enter in a badge right away. The last piece has to do with reminder defaults, and this basically has an alarm kind of capability that allows you to specify on a user-defined interval that a particular action should come up on the screen for acknowledgement. So if you need to perform an activity every 15 minutes or every 10 minutes, you can activate this, set the number of minutes that you wish to have it go off in, and then set the reminder text that you wish to use. That sets up the basic configuration of the program, so we're going to go ahead and say Next. The TeamTracer interface is driven by keyboard input, or can be driven by input from a variety of different swipe or scanner type of readers, either for perhaps a barcode, or for a magnetic stripe, or for a wireless proximity card. What you'll notice if we drop down the particular reader types is that we have integrated a PC prox unit from a company called RFIdeas and a USB magnetic stripe reader from a company called Magtech, and those give you very, very tight levels of integration with those two items. However, you'll also notice that there's a generic keyboard emulator. This will allow any standard input device that communicates with the computer as a keyboard to work with the software, which opens up the software to be used with a very, very wide array of readers of all kinds of different styles and types. We're going to go ahead and stay with the generic keyboard emulator for this and go ahead and say Next. Autofill-in is a new feature for the latest version of TeamTracer, and has to do with the ability for you to read information off of a card that you may have swiped to allow you to quickly and easily create a new record. So if you are using a person's license or some kind of ID information that has the person's name or information that you'd like to capture into a new record if that person is not yet in the database, you can use this screen to set that up. The live report field selection has to do with the information that you are going to see on the action capture screen when you swipe or enter in a person into the action capture screen. And this is purely for display purposes, so you will always see information such as the date, the assignment, but you may also want to be able to see other information that you have in the database. Frequently people would like to see something about a person's name or their department or some other piece of information that helps to quickly identify who that person is when looking at that information historically, or even just right on screen as soon as the card is swiped. So you can select the fields that matter to you. You can organize them so they'll come out of a particular order by using the arrow keys up and down. So if we select employee name, we can move that up so that that will come before department. When you're happy with the selections that you have here, go ahead and hit next. This is the final screen in our wizard, but it's a very important screen, and it has to do with what field or fields in the database the search is going to look when a card is swiped. So when the person comes up and they present their card, the system is going to look through any of the checked fields to find that particular number. Now be careful, the system is capable of searching across multiple fields. However, if you don't have unique data, and so there's potential for duplicate information in one of those fields, the system will actually come up and tell you that it can't properly identify it because of the fact that there is more than one record in the database that matches. So generally speaking, it is better to only select one field and make certain that that field has a unique identification number that only one card that's in your system will ever have. That way when that card is swiped, there's no question about where that card came from, and the fact that that card belongs and will be found, the information that's been searched on will be found and correctly signed in. If you're happy with the selections you've made for the fields, you can go ahead and hit finish. If you need to go back and make any changes to any of the settings that you've made previously, please go ahead and do so. Otherwise, when we hit finish, TeamTracer will be properly configured and ready for use.